Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep all the work in shot here while we're putting this thing together. What I've got here when we're putting this together is one of these Craig jigs. You're gonna need a drill. You're going to need probably a ruler of some sort, some glue, and then your project. What we're going to be doing here, slide that out of the way, is we're going to be attaching the top to the bottom to the top with pocket hole screws. And those are going to go down inside, one here and one here, to kind of hold that together. We're going to kind of do this all at once. We won't really even need clamps because we're going to put the screws in, and that's going to be enough of a clamp to keep the glue together for us. Before you do this, make sure that you've sanded everything as much as you want. If you want, you can put a little like 45-degree chamfer on the two sides and the bottom of this. Don't put it on the top, it'll look a little strange. You could put like a little chamfer or a round over on any of these sides that you wanted to, either with a hand plane or a handheld router or something like that. But when we're ready to actually start putting this thing together, I'll slide this out of the way. We're going to use the pocket hole jig to cut one pocket hole on each side. The blue Craig jig here is going to hold the workpiece where we want it, but we're going to have to set the stop collar here based on our material. So because we are going to be using, this is a 1-inch piece, I'm going to set this to 3/4 just so I can use the normal size screws. I'll put the drill in the drill bit. I have it set to setting 2 and I have it set on drill. And then I'm just going to go ahead and drill through. It doesn't really matter where these are, but I'm just going to put one on each side. So one here. And then I'll unlock it. Put another one over here. So I've got my 2 holes. They don't need to be perfect in any spacing just because you're never going to see those. And I'll do the exact same thing on my other side here, making sure I'm doing it on the inside where we're not going to see it. If you've got one side that looks nicer than the other, put it on the inside. Okay, so I'm done with the Craig jig. Make sure you go ahead and put that away. And now I've got my pocket holes and we're ready to go. So what I'm going to be doing here is gluing on my tenon and the edges here. All right, I'm not going to get it on the very end because I don't want to see that. And then I'll put these together like so. Take a second to get them all nice and lined up. And then I'll be putting those pocket hole screws in with the long drill bit here, or long driver bit. So I'm going to pause because I definitely forgot to go and get the screws, and we'll come back and do that. Okay, so here we go. Take this apart. Some glue. When you're putting this on these tenons, keep in mind that you don't really want any of it at the very end. This is going to stick out about a 1/4 inch past the end of the legs, and we don't want to see that glue on there. I'm going to put a little bit down there, but that's going to be about it, right like that. Then I will put this together. This would be a good time if you want to clean off that glue, get like a chisel or something to clean that off with. And I'll do the same thing on the other side here. So glue there, glue there, just a little bit more. I have to put some right here too. You can see that. So now when I slide this one on, got all those glued together. Now what I'm going to do before I put my screws in is I'm going to take some time to center this. So I have a ruler here. I can just kind of measure from each end and just make sure that it's the same. I'm not going to tell you what those measurements should be. Just take some time to try to get them the same on both sides. All the way around. That way a little bit. Okay, that's pretty even right there. So now I'm going to take these 1¼ inch screws and just make sure that they're going down inside those pocket holes and screw them in. You don't need to go super tight. It's probably not a bad idea to set this to like 8 just so that you can keep it from overdriving. Maybe. Okay. And then I'll make sure that it hasn't moved and go ahead and do the other side. And there's our step stool. Again, you can clean out some of that glue if you got a little bit of glue squeezing out there or there. Clean some of that out. But there's your finished step stool. What you're going to be required to do here is put some sort of a finish on there. We will talk about some options later on, kind of what that means, but we could use like a polyurethane finish, or we could use something more like just an oil finish that you put on. Both of those are going to be good options. But when you're done with this, then you can start moving on to the next project.